Regarding the questions that we were talking about the other day on how to get to know ourselves on a deeper level, I'd like to focus on the question of what am I afraid of? Wow, that's a big one because most of us walk around many a day being afraid of things that impact us in a way that paralyze us. They keep us in the same place, they keep us having a desire for more, they keep us wishing things were different, and we only find out that we had no real reason to be afraid when we start to challenge those things and conquer them. Personally, I was always afraid of offending people. And when I say offending people, some of it is on a, if I have to admit, an arrogant level, and some of it is, on that ego thing of showing up and being able to express myself without making someone else feel small or making someone else feel inferior in some way. I can have a very strong personality when I feel like I know something or when I feel confident about something. So I was always afraid of being rejected or alienated or people avoiding me because of this thing about me. In some people's eyes, it's a strong thing. It's a good thing. It's a thing that, I should nurture and I should be able to express and not, dim the light on it or turn it down. But my fear was I would end up alone or end up without people around me that had genuine care for me because they were not comfortable with my presentation of myself. So that fear for a long time kept me in a place of mediocrity, if you will. It kept me in a place of not wanting to just be who I was. And that fear was paralyzing for me. So when I went on my deep dive to dig deep into myself to say, what are you afraid of? That's one of the things that came up, and it was a big thing for me because I have a vision for my life. I have things I want to do, things I want to achieve, but I was always afraid of losing people along the way. I was afraid of, being by myself in a room of unfamiliar people. And yes, I've heard the things where people say, well, if people don't support you, then they weren't really your friends. Or if people make you, not show up in the room because they were uncomfortable with you, then it's about them and not you. We hear cliches all the time. These life-changing, surviving things that teach us, give us some sense of comfort or guidance. But the bottom line becomes, why? Like, why am I afraid? What am I afraid of? And so digging deep down, it was that. It was being afraid of rejection, being afraid of being alone. Then, of course, I had to ask other questions on top of those questions. Then why am I afraid of rejection? What is the rejection really going to do to me? Well, rejection in its sense of its own makes you wonder what is wrong with you, that people don't want to be around you, or people don't want to be with you, or people don't want to talk to you or connect to you. Then the fear of being alone, what does that look like for me? What does that feel like for me? So what I want you to understand and take from this is that digging deep is not something you should be afraid of, because what addressing those issues did for me was it made them less present. And I started to take on the energies of, I can only be who I am, and I should not limit that, and I should not curb that, for the sake of someone else's feelings, in the sense that I still have that burning desire in me to do and be, right? So your encouragement, dig deep, really get to know yourself. I push it, I encourage it. Between the healing and getting to know yourself, I don't know how we can set any expectations for any other people, you know, in our lives if we cannot hold ourselves to a standard. So push yourself. You can do this. Keep going. You have but one life.